Charleston City Councilman Jim McBride here, and I'm the city councilman for the city, District 3, which is Johns Island and part of James Island. And I want to talk about episode 13, which is focusing on the policing on Johns and James Islands. Policing in Johns and James Islands. I get a lot of requests from people about wanting more police presence or wanting to know the police presence on Johns and James Island. And it just so happens that, give you some background here, on April 10th at the Johns Island Council, which is a private organization, not directly affiliated with the city, but they do have a board, and they meet every month. They invite the public to almost every single meeting. And it's a great organization. There's the website, johnsislandcouncil.org, johnsislandcouncil.org. And you can see when they have their meetings, and it's at the Berkeley Electric on Main Road on Johns Island. They invited the Charleston County Sheriff, Carl Ritchie, and the City of Charleston Police Team 3 Commander, Lieutenant Jim Byrne. And they both came and spoke to an audience of about 40 people about how the Sheriff's Department for Charleston County and the city police work seamlessly together to protect the citizens of Johns and James Islands and of course, all around the city. Mayor Cogswell also attended and said a few words as well. So that was a nice, pleasant surprise to see him. And I'll show you a few pictures. There's Mayor Cogswell and Lieutenant Jim Byrne on the left there. And there's some of the crowd, just open to the public. Again, anyone can come to these meetings. They're at 7 p.m. There's me talking to the mayor and Sheriff Ritchie and Jim Byrne. There's some more of the crowd. There's Sheriff Ritchie talking there during his portion of the presentation. There's Jim Byrne giving his presentation. And again, there's the mayor saying a few words. So I'm just showing the pictures to kind of show, how open this forum was, and there was questions back and forth, and it was just a really positive opportunity for the public to see and hear from Charleston County Sheriff and Jim Byrne. So quick introduction if you don't know who the sheriff is, Sheriff Carl Ritchie. He just won election here a few months ago. And again, that's for Charleston County, which I'll talk about the difference between county and city in a minute. And on the right is Lieutenant Jim Byrne, who spoke on the city's behalf. Again, he's a Team 3. Charleston City Police is broken up into several teams that cover different parts of Charleston. In the city portion, Team 3 covers all of James Island and all of Johns Island, the city portions of James and Johns Island. On the left here is Chief Cheeto Walker. He's the chief of police for the city of Charleston. He could not attend, but just letting you know who he is. And again, Team 3 commander there on the right, Jim Byrne. Okay, so if you don't already know, the city portion, this is Johns Island. There's a Stone River right there, Stone River Bridge, and here's James Island to the right, and West Ashley up to the north. The pastel orange portions are the city portion of what you see on this map. So Charleston County overlaps, Charleston County, the unincorporated portion of Johns Island is the white portion of Charleston County. And then the incorporated into the city, but still part of the county portion is the pastel kind of yellow portions there. So a lot of Maybank Highway, but not all. You can see some cutouts that are unincorporated county, but a lot of Maybank Highway and North River Road and parts of South River Road down by the airport and Headquarters Island up here, and of course James Island. So I want to point out that because there's so many cutouts here, one of the main theme of the meeting of the sheriff and Jim Byrne, where there's seamless integration between the county and the city. You don't have to worry about, if you call the police, who's going to respond or what part of the city you're in, if you're in the county or the city or incorporated, unincorporated. They back each other up seamlessly. They're a strong partnership and a strong team. Um, I wanted to point out these red roads. I mentioned the red roads and talked about roads, who owns what roads, funding for the roads, et cetera. These red roads are state roads, and South Carolina has a inordinate amount of state-owned roads in the middle of municipalities. So as you can see here on Johns Island, all these roads, Maybank River, Brownswood, Murraywood, Main Road, Bohica Road, and many more are state-owned roads, which is odd in the middle of the municipality. So that's another reason why the county covers the same roads that the city does. The city, of course, focuses more in the city portion of these areas, but again, they back each other up, city and county. I'll show you even more state roads on James Island. Maybank Highway on James Island, Riverland Drive, Central Park Road, Camp Road, and a whole lot more are SCDOT or South Carolina Department of Transportation state roads. And again, there's cutouts. So in this one, it's the green kind of pastel color is the city portion or the incorporated portion, and the white cutouts are unincorporated county. But again, county overlaps all of it. So a lot of state roads on James Island, and then a whole lot on the peninsula. It's kind of mind-boggling how many state-owned roads. If you want to know about all of that, you can go to my episode 11, part 1, to learn a lot about why we have so many state roads and how we raise money to improve the roads with the help of the county. Okay, so that's just kind of an overview of the area that Charleston County covers, and they cover obviously way outside of the city portion of Johns and James Island, especially Johns Island goes out to Wadmalaw, Seabrook, Kiowa, etc. So I'm going to focus on the city portion primarily because again, I'm a city council. There was some slides from the sheriff, but I'm just going to show the slides from Jim Byrne from the Charleston Police city portion for the most part. So there's 453 sworn officers authorized in all of the city of Charleston Police. 39 of them are allocated to Team 3, which is Johns Island and James Island. There's 6 patrol squads and overlapping 10-hour shifts, and plus they have administrative and investigative staff. So it's a pretty large group of police professionals on the city that cover James and Johns Island. They have layered policing involves citywide assets to cover traffic, community-oriented policing, the schools, and central investigations. Now, both the sheriff had his own stats for Charleston County that were really good, positive stats. Jim Byrne from the city was really excited to show the statistics covering. So this is what you're seeing here. You could probably take a screenshot to save this. It's kind of hard to see, especially on a phone, but you can pause and take a screenshot. But this is for the year of 2024. Overall crime was down 10.9% across the city of Charleston, which is great. It covers, homicide, aggravated assault, burglary, motor vehicle theft, etc. All the main categories. Overall crime is down last year compared to the 5-year averages. The reason they use 5-year averages is because you always can have spikes up and down based on crime, based on circumstances. So they use a 5-year average to show you how a particular time period covers did compared to the 5-year average. So over a reduction of 10.9% last year. This is the first quarter of this year now. It went down even more, down 29.9%. That is incredible. Hats off to Charleston Police for the work they're doing. Just tireless, a lot of times thankless service, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I got to give them good thanks for what they've done, keeping crime down. So that's citywide. Now it gets even better for Team 3 and Johns and James Island. Check it out. 2024 overall crime over a 5-year average was down 30.9%. That's incredible. That is, I don't know how they do it, but they did it. So be thankful we have good police covering us out here in Johns and James Island. Crime is not that bad. I'll show you comparatively here in a minute compared to the rest of Charleston. Very thankful for the relatively low crime. You're never gonna have no crime, but we have relatively very low crime. Thank God. This is the first quarter of this year, 5-year average down even more, minus 36.5%. Incredible. So thanks to Jim Byrne and Team 3 for the work they're doing out here, keeping us safe and responding to traffic accidents and doing everything they can, despite the rapidly growing population, which I'll get to in a minute. Okay, so that's just kind of a summary citywide. 2024, quarter 1 through 4, the whole year, down 10.9%. Team 3 was down 30.9%. And in the first quarter of this year, 2025, there's the numbers, minus 29.9% citywide and minus 36.5% for Team 3. So Charleston Police and Team 3, they're doing something right because the crime is going down. So thanks again to them. These are some websites that Jim Byrne shared that the public can actually access, and they can go to these sites and see data as to where the crime is, what kind of crime it is, and it'll take you to this site here, and you click on incident map, and you actually can see geographically where all the crimes have taken place, and you can click on it and see details about generally where it is, not the exact address, but within a block of where it is, what kind of crime it was, all around. This is Johns Island here. So very transparent, unusually transparent mindset that they have. And then if you click on police response data sets on that same website, you can see a more detailed view. And over here, you can click on spreadsheet. You can download a spreadsheet of the crime in different areas, et cetera. It's pretty mind-boggling. But this shows you where I was saying how you look at Johns Island, and there's James Island, and District 3 for James Island, it covers this part about right here. So Team 3, the Team 3 covers all of James Island and Johns Island, the city portion. But look at how relatively little crime there is in District 3 compared to the rest of Charleston. So again, just grateful that, of course, there is still crime, and it's unfortunate. You can never get rid of all of it, but I'm very grateful that the crime that we have is relatively low compared to the rest of Charleston. And just, just want you to be aware of that. I get asked a lot, why don't we have more police presence out on Johns and James Island? There actually is a lot of police presence, especially now that you know that it's the city and the sheriff both covering and both responding to crime on Johns and James Island. You don't necessarily see it all the time, but they're out there, they're patrolling. And I've gone on patrols with both the sheriff, Cheeto Walker, for the city of Charleston police sheriff, sorry, police chief, city of Charleston police chief, Cheeto Walker. And I've gone with a patrol officer with Team 3 patrolling James and Johns Island at night just to kind of see what they go through. And they're out there 24/7 serving us very well. Okay, so this is kind of a heat map that Jim Byrne provided, which just kind of summarizes where the traffic collisions are on Johns Island in particular. Obviously, it's going to be in intersection of Maybank and River, and Main and Bohicket and Maybank are the two main areas. You can also kind of see other trends, so Upper River Road between Murraywood and Brownswood. There's obviously those stormwater ditches a lot of cars fall into, and collisions because there's not a lot of shoulders. And the new school, Johns Island Elementary, is going in right about there. We're trying to increase the shoulders. SCDOT and CCSD with the city are trying to increase the shoulders for safety on Upper River Road, in part because that school is going in there. South River Road, not nearly as bad, but down here it's narrow and there's a lot of big, huge trees right by the road too, not a lot of shoulders. So that kind of makes sense. But anyway, that's just kind of an overview of where the collisions happened all of last year into this quarter of this year. Okay, I'm excited to say this part here. Future of Team 3. So again, people are asking, why isn't there more police presence? The population is growing on, especially on Johns Island. James Island growth is pretty stagnant now. There's not a lot of room left to grow. So it's growing on Johns Island. What's the city doing about it? What's the mayor doing about it? What's the police chief doing about it? Well, they're looking to build. So as you all know, there's a new fire station being built on Maybank Highway. That's Fire Station 23. Just sorely needed. And the mayor is working with the police chief, Cheetah Walker, to find some land to build two more fire stations. And I think the first one's going to be on South River Road, somewhere near the airport. And that will include a police hub. So it's going to be kind of an emergency center, not just a fire station. It's going to have a fire station, police, maybe some medical. But of course, all our firefighters are CMT certified, if you didn't know that. So they're very capable for initial response. But Team 3 right now, the headquarters for Team 3, Jim Byrne's unit, is on James Island near Harris Teeter. So when the city is able to buy the land and build the emergency center down by the airport on Johns Island, that's very likely where Team 3's headquarters will move to. So they're moving towards the population growth. It takes time for these things to be funded and built, of course, but I'm very grateful that the mayor is going forward with this and uh, Police Chief Cheetah Walker. And we're very excited about that and just happy that they're leaning forward and looking to the future. So that should just be, 2, 3, 4 years away max, hopefully. Um, yeah, so that's good news. Just wanted y'all to know that'll increase the response. This response times will be even better because the Team 3 will be literally on Johns Island. Again, closer to where the future, kind of current and near future population center will be in Team 3's jurisdiction. And they're building. Cheetah Walker is recruiting. The Charleston police numbers are growing as the city can fund them and the police can recruit them. So we're growing. They're growing to match the growing population in Charleston. Okay, so Jim Byrne wanted to share these numbers. I'm going to show you something in a minute here. So 911helpme.com. Not many people know about that. That is a great website. That is, if you report anything there, it goes to both the sheriff's department and city police, and they figure out who's going to respond to it. It's a great one-stop location to report a crime or an emergency. You can call the Charleston Police Department at that number there for administrative business only. And of course, there's always 911. And as we talked about, and their theme was, don't worry about jurisdiction. If it's sheriff or city, they can figure that out. There's the address of the police headquarters, not for Team 3, but for all the city of Charleston. There's a public affairs email you can contact, and there's a QR code to find out more contact info. All right, so let me back out of this. I don't want to show you one more thing, and I'll end this video here. Okay, I wanted to show you an update to my website, which is votejimmcbride.com. That's votejimmcbride.com. Go to my website. I'm trying to make my website usable, more usable. It's been usable for quite a while, since the beginning, but I'm trying to make it as usable as possible for the constituents to go to find out all the main information that they want for the city. So if you go to my website, votejimmcbride.com, scroll down to the pineapple. I tell that people all the time. Scroll down to the pineapple. Just above the pineapple is an interactive map that's very useful. It's a city map that lets you know where things are in different parts of Johns and James Island and all around Charleston. Just below that's the pineapple. You can click on the pineapple to report anything to the city. but I added this recently. So that's the 911helpme.com. That's what I wanted to show you. So if you go there, click on that, it takes you to that consolidated, um, Charleston County Consolidated Emergency Communication Center. So again, that's Charleston County Sheriff and Fire and City Police all in one website. You fill out your information. Um, it's not a long form, just about 3/4 of a page. Hit submit, and you're done. And then again the emergency units in Charleston County in the city of Charleston will figure out which units to respond to whatever the situation is. So that's 911helpme.com, and that's it. So thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this. Please, if you like this video, you thought it was helpful, check out my other videos on YouTube and share them. Share them with folks that you think can benefit from them, because I'm trying to make these videos to educate the public, make us more effective as constituents, to be able to influence the right level of local government to make a difference in District 3 in Johns Island and James Island. Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate your time.